class, this is me. I want to show you how to use the data analytic tool in Excel and Google Sheets for your discussion. As you go to the link in class discussion week 2, it's going to take you to Google Sheets. I don't know if you have used it, but Google Sheets is kind of slow for uploading data, so you may want to give it a few seconds to see the whole thing. Like right now it says working. So now it seems that it uploaded everything that we wanted to see. What I did right here with this Google Sheets documents, which is kind of like an Excel document. Let me show you the bottom part right here. It has the instructions tab, data set tab, and then an example, my own example of how to do the analysis. For the instructions, it's pretty straightforward. Just go through numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. The analysis part is just very basic, A, B, C, and D. You have to choose 2 variables. You have to create charts of your variables. And then you have to do some summary statistics and apply some analytical tool like in regression analysis or some other predictive type of analysis. And then for number 6, go back to the discussion forum. So you go back here, and then once you're done with your analysis, you create your posting, and then you let us know what you did, what you think of your analysis, and any other comments you want to give. But going back to Google Sheets, it's basically like an Excel sheet. And the data set that we're going to be working with is right here. It's, as you can see, just give it a few seconds and it will upload. I don't recommend using Google Sheets for very big data. This is just for us as an exercise. Also, Google Sheets is really good at sharing documents on the go. You can use your phone. You can have the app on your phone and to share with your Google Drive. Is pretty good in that sense when you're working with people and you're not at your desk. You're sharing documents, but definitely not for analyzing big data. It is very clunky and slow, like I said, but it is good. Overall, it's good. It's like Excel. It has a very good analytical tools. And the data set is mainly numeric. You can see all of these variables. And, well, obviously they don't mean anything to you right now. So in order to find out what they mean, go back to your instructions right here. And then I gave you the code book right here. This link, it will give you what is called the dataset code book. It defines all the variables. It tells you about whether they are numeric or text and so on. And then choose, once you get familiar with the data set, just choose 2 variables that you want to analyze. I myself, I wanted to analyze the first one because the first one has the number of religious institutions by state. Let me show you the very last variables. Let me put this over here, out of the way. And what we're analyzing is basically in this data set states. As you can see, all the U.S. states. And then I chose POP 2010. That's the population in each state in 2010, in the year 2010. So I wanted to see how the population, how this variable right here, how that one is related to my first variable sorry, let me get this out of the way, and move all the way to the end, and I wanted to see how the population from that variable affects this variable right here, which is the number of religious institutions in a state. So it's obvious that larger states like California is going to have more religious centers or institutions. Well, that's obvious. But we don't know. So we're going to be testing this with our own, in my example right here, this is my question. I want to know whether larger states have larger number of religious institutions. So first, for analysis B, you need to just create visual charts of your 2 variables. So here's one, and then here's another one. So obviously I didn't include labels, but it's always good to include your labels on the x-axis and y-axis. And then over here, this is the same thing. I didn't create labels, but the U.S. state population is on the x-axis. So as we have states like California, very large, and then the number of religious institutions on the y-axis right here, you can see that this positive relationship. So it's kind of obvious right here from the plot. So that's just analysis B. But let me just quickly show you how to do the analysis. Go back to your data set, and like I said, select your two variables. So let's suppose that you selected these two, C and D, as an example. So I'm going to copy these, create a new tab sheet for your own analysis. You can place your data right here. I'll put this as example 2, just for this example right here. And this makes it convenient for you to just work with your own two variables as opposed to going back to the big data set right here or this full data set and working with it. Just be careful if you change this data set, just be aware that you're going to be changing the data set for all of us. This is basically a live document, so be very careful with that. But if there are any problems, just let me know. Going back to your two variables. So as you begin your analysis for the charts, just select your variable, insert, chart, and that's it. Well, then you give it a second. Then you can actually select your type of chart. Well, that depends on what you're analyzing, but you go through all these prompts. But let me get rid of this. Let me delete this chart. But I just wanted to show you that it's pretty easy to do it in Google Sheets. Let me move this back here. And then for the other analysis, let me go back to my example. You need to do some descriptive statistics or compute descriptive statistics like the mean, standard error, median, mode, and so on for your two variables or whatever variables you choose. There's a tool which I already added here. Let's go back to our example. So I want summary statistics of the first one. Go to add-ons, Excel minor analysis tool pack. So it's already added for you right here, but that's just an add-on. It was free as well. Click start, give it a few seconds, and then all of these statistical tools that you have here, then we need to choose the one that we want for that exercise, which is right here, descriptive statistics, and then go through the prompts as well. Input range, that is basically asking you what do you want to analyze. So I already highlighted my data, so the column A, that's what I want to analyze, the column A. Make sure that you click labels in the first row because your column is labeled. It has a variable name. You need to tell Excel or Google Sheets that that is not what we're analyzing, that's just a label. The output range, this is basically where you want to put your output. I want to put it right here. So I just select that, go back to my output there, and there. And include a D2. Or you can just type it in yourself too. It won't change. Summary statistics, yes, we want all of them. Confidence level for the mean, 95 is the standard in statistics. Some people like to use 98 or 99, but the standard is 95. Let's just use the standard. These other ones, they don't matter for us. And then just click OK. And wait a few seconds, and that will give you the summary statistics for that variable there. And you do the same thing for variable number 2, just you can place it anywhere. And then going back to our analysis. So we did analysis C right there. Analysis D. Analysis D, let me go back to my instructions. Let me close that, put this little window over here. Analysis D is, you can select any tool that you want in statistics, aside from summary statistics, like predictive analysis, we see regression analysis as being a predictive model, but it's also a statistical model. Either way is fine. I think that the textbook was mentioning something else for regression analysis, but you can use any forecasting tool as well, or any other statistical analysis. So apply any, for your two variables, apply a model. In my case, in my example, I apply regression analysis. And this is the whole analysis I got from Excel or from Google Sheets, including this graphic. So I wanted to test how my two variables, the population and the Y variable, which is the number of religious institutions, how those two are related. Do they have a linear relationship like I saw in my graphic? And is it statistically significant? Well, according to this analysis, it shows my R-square pretty high. That's pretty good. And then coefficients right here for my intercept and my slope. So this is basically from my own output. It's telling me that my Y variable, which is the population, the number of religious institutions, if that is equal to an intercept plus the slope, which is multiplied by my X variable, and the result is that the Y is equal to an intercept of 2105.88 or so, and then plus my slope of 0.00077 or so, and then multiply by my X variable. So just multiply right there. This is basically the linear equation that I get, and this is a predictive model because it is significant, and I can see, for example, a p-value. If we have a p-value for those two coefficients, a p-value of less than 0.05, because 95% is my confidence level, and the p-value of 0.05, then definitely that is significant, and this one is significant as well. And another test is the R-square, or also the adjusted R-square is pretty high. Usually standard is more than 0.50. That's pretty good for a model. So this shows that the data that I started analyzing, yes, does have a significant statistical linear relationship. So this is your, let me go to the example that we're working with. So my model shows that I have a good statistical linear relationship right here between those two variables. And once you select, where it is, linear regression, then you have to go through your own data. Sorry, let me put this out of the way. Sorry, this is in the way. Input Y range. So that is basically asking you, what is your Y variable? Let's suppose that this is your Y variable, column D. So you can put, it starts from B1 to B, the last one I believe is B52, we can check. Oops, too far, B52. So the data ranges from B1 to B52. And the X, suppose that column A, or variable A, is your X variable, that X variable is causing the other one. So we'll do from A1 to A52. Make sure that you click labels, because A1, the very first one, is a label, as well as B1. Those are labels. We don't want the constant to be 0. We want an intercept to be calculated. And then our confidence level, 95. Output range, where do you want to place all of your analysis? Let's choose this one, which is D22. So I prefer to write it down, D22. And then you can select the line plots, and then OK. And give it a few seconds, and there. It gives you your model, and then plus you scroll here, it gives you the line plot. So notice that these two variables that I just ran